Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about equivalent ratios and graphing those equivalent ratios. So we're going to look at this first question I have here. So it says, for every cup of flour, 4 batches of cookies can be made. Create a table showing the batches of cookies that can be made with up to 5 cups of flour. Then plot the values on the coordinate plane. So I first have to figure out what my x and y value will be. So my x value will be my cups of flour. And my y value would be my batches that I can make. So my question says for every cup, 4 batches can be made. So 1 cup gives me 4 batches. So we want to know it can be made with up to 5 cups. So I'll fill these in up to 5. And then I'm going to look for the relationship to write the equivalent ratio. So this is a 1-to-4 ratio. So if I go from 1 cup of flour giving me 4 batches, 2 cups of flour will give me 8 batches. 3 cups, then, if I'm multiplying by 4, would give me 12. 4 would give me 16, and 5 would give me 20. If I fill in my graph, above my x value is my cups, so that'll be the bottom of my graph. And then along the side here will be my batches. So I'm going to number down here at the bottom, 3, 4, 5 for my cups. And then up the side, I'm going to count by 5s. 10, 15, 20, 25. So now I'm just going to treat those ratios as ordered pairs. So for instance, 1, 4. So that's my cups of flour is the 1, batches is 4. So 1 cup to 4 batches. And then I'll just graph accordingly. So 2, 8, 2, 8, 3, 12, 4, 16, and 5, 20. And then I'll draw my line. Through my points. So now, what does the line mean? The line means that anything that falls on this line, absolutely any point on this line, will give me the correct ratio of cups to flour for how many batches I need. So this line includes every possible ratio on into infinity that I could have. Well, we can also talk about the top and the bottom of the graph. They also mean things. So if I'm looking at a point above the line on the graph, let's say I'm looking at 2, 15. So for every 2 cups of flour, I get 15 batches. So I have to think about what that means. If it's 2 cups of flour and I get 15 batches out of it, it means there's not enough flour, right? Down here, if I had a point at, say, 4 cups of flour and 5 batches, well, this is going to be way too floury, so too much flour. In each of my batches. Since the correct amount for 4 would be, I can get 16 batches with 4 cups of flour. If I only make 5 batches, they're going to have way too much flour in them. So that means that anything below this line would be too much flour, and anything above that line would be not enough flour. So that's the information that we can get from graphing ratios. Same thing for this one. Every box of candy has 6 pieces of candy. Create a table showing the pieces of candy in up to 5 boxes. Then plot the values on the coordinate plane. So I have my x and my y again. So x here is my boxes. And then y is my pieces. Every box has 6 pieces, so you can fill in your ratios then. And we're going to go to 5 boxes. My X value is my boxes, and my Y value over here is the pieces of candy. I'll number the graph. I'll count again by fives. Go ahead and fill in your table and graph these. You won't be able to graph this last one, but go ahead and graph the ones that you can. And when you're done, come back and check your work. All right, so I'm multiplying by 6 each time to get from 1 to 6. So this would be 12, 18, 24, and 30. So I would graph accordingly. So one box would be 6 pieces, 2 boxes would be 12 pieces, 3 would be 18 pieces, 4, 24, and then like I said, 5 would go on to 30, and I can't fit that on my graph. So then I just draw a line through my points. So anything on this line, again, would fit this ratio. If I'm looking above and below the line, for instance, here, if I have 3 boxes and 5 pieces of candy, well, there's not enough candy, right, to go into those boxes. And then if I look up here, let's say I do 2 boxes and I have 20 pieces of candy. Well, 2 boxes should really be 12 pieces of candy. So here I have too much candy in each box. So again, the information that you can gather from graphing data on the coordinate plane. And so that is how you find ratios, equivalent ratios, and you graph those ratios on the coordinate plane.